Hello, friends. Good morning, good evening, namaskar, sat sri akal, adab, salam. How are you all doing? Hope you all are doing well. Myself, Saraswati Poswal, on this great eve today. As you all know, we are here today to begin a new content, new storytelling event here, and this has been conducted by our UBI team, as you all know. Firstly, I would like to thanks to Shivani Kerkar, Sapna ma'am, for taking this initiative of UBI, and she's a founder. She is doing a great job to give a platform for various writers, poets, for the storytelling, Punjabi, English, Hindi, and all other languages platform she has served for the poets and writers here. So I would like to thank her very much from my entire team and the participants here available today for this great show today. We all thanks to her very much, and Sir Shyam Sundar Sharma sir for being there, and their entire team for supporting for these great initiatives they are taking for the writers to uplift the literature and the poets. Thank you so much, ma'am, sir, and the entire team. I would like to welcome the writers and poets today. Great poets and writers. They have won various international awards, and they are writing in the various groups as well, and they are the recipient of many awards today. I would like to welcome all of them. They are Dr. Ganga Lakshmi Patnaik, she's from Orissa, Megha Bhatnagarji, and Shyam Prasad Patnaik, sir, available there. So we will start this event today. How are you all doing? Well, fine, ready, prepared with your stories? Thank you so much. So I would like to tell something about the UBI. As you all know, UBI United by Inks is a global platform connecting creative minds in an international forum, which is a thriving community of nearly 10,000 enthusiastic artists who came together to express their creativity in the different forms across all social media handles. United Banks was founded on 2nd February 2018 as a global Facebook page and a group, which was created by Mrs. Sapna Shivani Kerkere, author of Ki Bonderi, to bring the writing fraternity under the roof. We have a wide writers, passionate writers and authors, performing artists, painters, and photographers who are ready to take up various difficult challenges. We host a free blogging platform as well. We also provide an opportunities to the facilities and facilitators, pre and post publishing support, marketing support, distribution support, which would make the journey easy and let the creativity enthusiastic reach their goals. Unique UBI LLP initiative, UBI LLP Learning Lab programs is on a mission to make the learning easy and within reach for whoever desire to learn these creative skills. Our annual events are UBI Fest, UBI Hindi Utsav, and UBI Inked Marathon provided opportunities to come together, learn, grow, and interact with the community experts. As a part of the UBI family, I'm proud to be here. Thank you so much, UBI team, Sapna Shivani ma'am, for doing this great job. Hats off to you. Now, I would like to introduce our famous writer, poetess. Her name is Dr. Ganga Lakshmi Patnaik. She'll be starting up with her story as we all are here to listen her words, what she'll provide us. Dr. Ganga Lakshmi Patnaik, she is an associate professor in English literature. Higher education is from Orissa, is a published bilingual poet. Made her debut in the poetry in 1986, and her first poem is For You Only, which was published in National Magazine Women's Era. For this poem awarded cash prize. Her poems are published in international journal Rock Pebbles, anthology of poetry like Bridge in a Making Splash, Festivals of Fire, Monster 2000 2020, Trowelly, Noble Nobles, Art Bliss, Ding Dong Bells, Me and My Valentine, Melodious Musings of Love, Save Our Paradise, Listen to Her Silence, Whole World in a Single Word, Goddess on the earth, guiding light on our earthly path. You cannot be replaced. Bonding beyond world, hues of friendship, glory of independence, verses of patriotism, amazing gardener, awakener of hidden potentials, Manu Shatvam 2023, Symphony of Peace 2024, Stencils 2024. Her English poems are translated in other regional languages like Assamese, Nepali version of Assam poems are also Ezain Tahira reviewed poems in the social platform, live shows in the YouTube. She is an extempore author for invited as the honored guest in the literature conclave. DAV Public School seminars in City College, Mame Mahila Mahavidya, Behrampur, Orissa. Visited an English language subject expert to Saraswati Vidya Mandir, Behrampura, Orissa, RCM Science College, Calcott. Ganjam, Orissa received Best Teacher Award. So let's begin with her today as she has been doing a great job on her writing experience and a great job for the society with her words. Let's listen to her story today. Yes, yeah, platform is yours. Ganga Lakshmi ma'am, Dr. Ganga Lakshmi ma'am, please join in.
Thank you, madam, for your appreciation. Actually, I feel proud of. Now I am going to start my story. Dear friends, good afternoon. I am Dr. Ganga Lakshmi Patnaik from Odisha, India. Like to speak a small spooky story from my own experiences. It is my pleasure. Please bear with me. The title of the story is Odisha Train Mishap. The title of the story is Odisha Train Mishap. Before the narration of the story, let me speak you Odisha train mishap, the accident which is the root of my spooky story. On June 2nd, 2002-3, three trains were involved in collision in Balasore, Odisha, India. Around 7 p.m., Coromandel Shalimar Express, bound for Chennai and traveling at 128 kilometers per hour, veered onto loop line instead of the main line and crashed into another train. Many lost lives on the spot. After few days, it is believed that spot has filled with negative energies interfering with the life of the persons. Very close to that accident spot is a school called Bahanaga High School. After the accident, the school was used as a temporary mortuary for victims of the train accident because it was the closest facility to the accident site. The school's 6 classrooms were used to house the bodies. Students were reluctant to attend classes in the school where bodies were kept. Limitless and headless bodies of more than 250 passengers who perished were kept on the school premises. After some days, Bahanaga High School was demolished and a new building structure was framed for the school pupils. The night watchman is my distant cousin. One day, we couple went there for an urgent work and stayed one night in the guest room. It was a usual night, went to sleep in an instant. Sometime in the middle of the night, my sleep broke. From window, the light of the small bulb was coming and reflecting on the mirror that was just on right side of our bed. What I saw was a man with a terrifying, bloody and pale face, with a small girl on his shoulders, with twisted legs, swinging on rope and laughing that scared the hell out of me. I rubbed my eyes about 10 times to see whether it was imagination or reality. They were continuously laughing. I suddenly covered my face with a blanket and chanted the name of Lord Hanuman. At that moment, this whole thing happened with me. I was damned scared. It stirred feelings of terror, eliciting fear and dread. It alerts my nervous system, which sets my body's fear. I feel my blood pressure was enhancing and heart rate increased. I started breathing faster. I feel restless and jumpy. My husband said, "Stop being so emotional." Again requested me to calm down because my feelings are out of control. Not only I, but also my husband said that he felt someone's presence, but I still do not know who was that little girl. This incident is the most horrifying incident we have ever experienced. Sleep did not come to my eyes, so I opened my eyes, saw a young girl very close to my bed. The face had a mild glow, and I could not recognize who she was. She had short black hair and was wearing a light pink shaded long night dress with little daisies all over. I felt she was not a real, living person. She was watching me in a creepy way. I got fear, forced myself to close my eyes, and again slept. I became numb, cold, moved my hand, thinking it was just a vision. When I opened eyes, I got her on the same spot, trying to touch my feet. In a few minutes, she disappeared, but after that, my hubby told me she was the same woman at the closed door of our bedroom through the door's window, but when he entered there was nobody. I ignored him because I thought he just has a rich imagination. After a few minutes, me and my hobby saw the same silhouette at the back, and when we entered there was nobody inside. We got out as fast as we could. We checked everywhere, every room of the school, all the corners, front, back side of the school. There was nobody. I could not sleep. I had a lot of nightmares. Sometimes I was just feeling that I was watched. I got very ill soon after, also inexplicable. It caused me sweat, felt tense. Also, I felt trembling, hot flushes in my body. Suddenly sounds heard, and many things broke in the room. The pipes in the toilet busted. The light bulbs in the room kept glowing. An electrician came several times to see why is this happening and could not find an explanation or solution to prevent this happening. I heard from my grandmother that females are more prone to attacks by ghosts because females have menstruation cycles. Their monthly period emits a default attraction for the dead because they can take new body form. This is why females are not allowed to go outside. Females in period time are prime targets of these paranormals. This widespread fear instilled in my heart. After that, I heard scary echoes when the train arrives or departs from the station. It is believed that the spirits of the passengers, many of whom did not live to see their relatives, still linger around the school area. Unexpected, unexplained disturbances such as eerie sounds at night have been reported frequently. Soon we left the place. There's a lot of negative vibes there. In the conclusion, I can speak that they are widespread like fire in the forest. Now my story is ended. I am really grateful for the entire team of UBI for their support and guidance. Thanks a bunch, dear friends, Sarma sir and madam. I am super thankful for the big help of Saraswati Poswal madam. She means a lot to me. Her support means more than I know. Thanks once again.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was wonderful, your wonderful words and verses you have written so nicely. I've heard first time your story. I knew you were writing so many things, but very nice. And it was like I was indulging in the whole story. I was going through there with the every scene and the scene you have created. Like it was not
Thank you.
like a story. It was like I'm going through all the places and the scene was going with me. Very nice. Everyone, please give a big hand of applauses for her story. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'll be calling you upon once again at the last when this Sham sir and uh, Madhumita will be over. Then I'll call you upon. So be there. Don't leave the platform, ma'am. Okay. Thank you so much, Ganga Lakshmi, ma'am, Dr. Ganga Lakshmi, ma'am. Now, next, we are moving on to Mudita Bhatnagar Soni. She is a resident of Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh. An amateur, still learning her trade, living her dreams of being an educator, has done for schooling from DPS Gwalior and has pursued MA in English literature and psychology, learning and sharing the best of her skills and pouring out love and admiration to the budding artist. Her hobbies are teaching, reading, and writing. She has been a great best part of various writing platforms, which includes UBI, Your Quote, and Novelist. She has also taken workshops on the multiple thought-provoking issues. Thank you so much. You are doing a great job in such a early ages. You are doing so much big tasks. So our best wishes are with you,
Thank you.
Mudita. Yeah, please continue with your story. We would love to hear you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the introduction. And I'm equally thankful towards the UBI team for giving me this opportunity of sharing the mic with you all and getting to share my views. Now, the story which I would like to speak is its genre is self help. This story is titled as The Worst is Not the Worst. Now, here the story will teach us that the scenarios which we create in our mind and the things for which we panic are not actually as bad as we think. And there is a solution for everything. Now, the protagonist of our story is a young entrepreneur who is an accomplice who's learning his trade. He is trying his level best for the upliftment of his organization. He's working his blood and sweat towards the betterment, but none of his efforts were paying off. All his hard work was going in vain. Now there was no customer satisfaction. His employees were not satisfied. He himself was not satisfied with what all he was doing. One fine day, he decided to end all his sufferings. He decided that now the only way to save himself from humiliation is to just end the sufferings by ending his life. So he stood there on the top of a cliff, decided to jump off. Now he stood there for a real long time, gathering up the courage whether to take the decision or not. And there stood an old man at a distance who kept on observing this entrepreneur for quite a while. After some time, the old man reached to the entrepreneur and he asked, "What is the matter? Is everything okay? Is there anything that's troubling you?" Listening to the words of the old man, the entrepreneur couldn't hold back in. He was so filled up that his eyes were now filled with tears and he just spoke out everything that was causing him trouble. Listening to the words of the entrepreneur, the old man's heart felt heavy and he took out a blank check from his pocket. He signed the check and he handed over to the entrepreneur, saying that I am Dhirubhai Ambani and this is a blank check. You take this check, you use it, you fill any amount that you want to fill. Use it for the upliftment of your organization and return me back the money once your company gains back its lost repo. The entrepreneur was so messed up in his situation that he just couldn't say no. He took the check in one go and he rushed back to his company, filled with all the new hopes of success, all the new hopes of survival. He handed over the check to his team members and he said that from now on, we are going to have only the good days. Now our sufferings will end. I have found out a solution and we will work accordingly. Watching the enthusiasm of their leader, the teammates were also now filled with all the hopes. They put in their 100% efforts for the betterment. There were many later situations which were worse than the previous ones, but the leader always waited for a worse situation to encash the check. And that worst situation never really occurred. They, with their lot of efforts, were finally able to cross every hurdle that they were facing. Slowly and gradually, time passed. With the multiple and combined efforts of the entire company, their lost reputation was now back. Months passed, days passed, years passed. While going through his file, the entrepreneur found out the check, which was never used. He smiled and he decided, why not go back to the same cliff, find out the old man, and hand over the check back to him? So he returned back to the cliff. He waited there for a long time, but nobody came. Looking afar, he saw a beautiful white building and he thought to himself, maybe this is the residence of Dhirubhai Ambani. So why not go there and hand him over the check personally? So he went to the building, he saw a receptionist there. He told this to the receptionist that I have come to meet Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani and hand over this check to him. It was his help, and this is a favor which is done by him, so now I want to return it back. Listening to the words of the businessman, the receptionist could do nothing but she started laughing. She said, sir, I'm so sorry, but this is not Dhirubhai's residence. This is a mental asylum. Similarly, the man who handed over the check to you was not Dhirubhai Ambani, but was one of our mental patients who goes around distributing fake checks to people, giving them hopes for future and survival. And I guess this is what he has done to you. Listening to the words of the receptionist, a chill ran down to the spine of the entrepreneur. He just could not believe what he heard. It was a prank, maybe, which was done by the old man, but it saved the life of somebody who was almost about to end it. So, the title that the story gives is The Worst is Not the Worst. The scenarios which we create in our mind are actually not as dangerous as we think. 90% of our problems arise from our overthinking, and if we don't do it, we are halfway through it. So, this is the first story. Now, the second story again explains hope. Here, the protagonist of the story was a retired army man, but he was so badly injured in one of the wars that the doctors told him that he would never be able to get up again, he would never be able to walk on his feet again. Listening to the words of the doctor, the army man grew depressed and depressed. He lost all the hopes of life. He thought to himself, what is the motive of living? If I'm not able to walk, if I'm not useful for the society, there is no motive in the life. And thus he became more and more depressed. He filled his life with darkness. He rarely smiled, he rarely talked, he rarely shared any of his feelings. He was admitted into the rooms of a hospital, one of the rooms of the hospital. Days passed, and then came a second patient who was complete opposite to the army man, who was filled with positivity, who shared happiness, who was like a sunshine for everybody in the hospital. He showed admiration, he showed sympathy, he showered affection and acceptance for people. Now they both started living in the same room. The army man found the new company very, very boring because he was not interested to have any kind of discussion. But the positive person would sit outside the window and would tell all the scenarios of the outside world. He would tell scenes like there are children playing outside, there is a parade going on outside, there are vegetable vendors outside, and all sorts of beauty. Listening to what the depressed man slowly started feeling hopeful. He also wanted to reach to the window and see all those things which the other man was able to see. And that is how their friendship grew day by day. But one fine day, they both went to sleep, and the positive man did not wake up the next morning. Surprisingly, he died. His death left a huge and deep impact into the heart of the army man because the other person was the only man to whom the army man talked. And now the army man was not having anybody to share his thoughts to. What did he do? There was nobody who would now tell the scenarios of outside world. So now this army man, he tried to get up on his own. He gathered up all his courage and his strength, took a few wobbling steps, and finally he was now able to reach to the window. Seeing what, the entire hospital staff was shocked because, according to them, it was never supposed to happen. The man was never supposed to get up. He was so badly injured that it was not possible. But when the man reached the window, what he found out was completely different from what he was told. There was no beautiful scenery, there were no children, there was no vegetable vendor, but a dull grey black wall outside the window. Seeing what, the army man was furious. He called the nurse and he called the hospital staff. He asked the nurse, "Why did my friend lie to me? Why didn't he tell me that there is nothing outside? Why was he telling me all sorts of imaginary stuff?" Listening to the words of the army man, the nurse smiled and she said, "Sir, those were the words of the imagination of a blind person. The roommate that you were having was a complete blind man who was not able to see what is going on outside. He made all the scenarios of his mind and spoke them out to you, maybe because he wanted you to have all the beautiful hopes of future, to get up on your feet, to walk, to come to the window and see, this is what he has done. Because of his lies, you are now finally able to get up and come." So this brings end to the second story. It teaches us that hope prevails all. That's the
Wow,
thing.
wonderful, wonderful. What a lovely, lovely stories. Both are very inspiring and very much motivating and moving stories. Buddhita, I appreciate a lot from my heart. My best wishes are with you. And both the stories, they both were not relating each other, but they were both motivating. Like one's imagination can give a support to another person. They can get motivated. Once, if you have a human feeling, I feel, then only we can come up and support the other person. And it's our willpower, which also helps us to be there always to stand up. Like, yeah, very nice, very
Correct.
appropriate, and yeah, very moving stories. I will, my best wishes are with you. I would like to now come upon on Dr. No, Shyama Prasad Patnaik, sir, for your story. Are you prepared for that? Shyama Prasad
Yeah,
Patnaik, he is born in Orissa, presently staying in Bengaluru, Whitefield, and he is a former bank professional. Qualifications are CARB. He is a trilingual poet, writing English, Hindi, and Orissa languages. His passion is poetry writing. He is also a singer, given a live performance in the Sortal musical platform, Star Maker, etc. He has also participated in the Poetic Zoom conferences of the Fertile Brains, Pen Wonders International, and Passion of Poetry. He has also participated in the Coffee with Loe and Evening with the Gelda, conducting on behalf of the Pen Wonders International. His main area in writing poems, but sometimes he writes stories. He's a member of PWI, POP, the Fertile Brains, and the New Leaf, etc. Admin of MMW and SLI, Sargam for Literary Interactions, MMW. And he's a co-editor of Khoishe and Tahira Izain magazine. Poems are published in the various national and international anthologies. So let's give a big hand of applause to Shyama Prasad Patnaik. The platform is yours, sir. Please continue with your story.
first of all, I would like to thank Saraswati ma'am for giving such a beautiful introduction. And good evening, dear poet friends and Saraswati Poswal ji. To this, I and I am lucky to participate in this conference of storytellers conducted by UBI, that is United by Inks. Though I have recently joined on the behest of Saraswati ma'am, and I am not a story writer at all. Sometimes I write stories. Usually I write poems in various platforms. So I am Sama Prasad Patnaik from Odisha. Now I would like to narrate my story before you. The title of my story is Twinkle, the Rag Picker Angel. Twinkle, the Rag Picker Angel. The story moves in the following way. Let me share it before you. The title is Twinkle, the Rag Picker Angel. Here it goes. One little innocent girl, aged about 6 to 7, wearing a torn, faded, multi-stitched old skirt every day, collects rags by city roadside from morning 7 o'clock till mid-noon. Her eyes spoke about her poverty, reveals hungry stomach. Whatever rags collected, she would deposit with a local kabadiwala, dealing with old newspapers, used plastic waste, iron, steel, and other electronic materials. She receives a paltry sum in exchange of waste, useless, and discarded materials. Both her father and mother were daily wage earners. Her only elder brother, Vicky, studying in class 5 in a government primary school. Twinkle also went to school for 2 years and done well in studies. But unfortunately, she was compelled to discontinue after her education for want of school fees and books due to her family's poor financial condition. While passing by the road, a well-to-do aristocrat couple saw the little girl and stopped their car, alighted, and the couple, in same tone, in unison, asked her name. The little scared angel, looking down at the ground, replied in a choked voice, Twinkle. The couple were much impressed by the prettiest, innocent, and cute girl. They had only one son of 5 years named Suraj, studying in Standard 1 in a premier English medium school. Suraj feels quite alone as both parents were company executives and out of home for the whole day. When he returns from school by 4 p.m. in the evening, permanent caretaker, maid auntie, takes charge of Suraj till his parents return home. The couple asked her to meet with her parents. She took them to her home. They were staying in a thatched cottage in a labor class slum. The environment of the colony was quite unhealthy, lack of proper water and electric supply. The girl's house roof was covered by tarpaulin and polythene, having many holes, and sun rays directly entered into the house. The couple could imagine about predicament of the poor family in rainy and winter seasons. They had no chairs to offer, so spread one mat on the neat and clean, properly maintained, mud-smeared floor. The polite couple gave a proposal for adoption of the girl's head. They wanted to send her to school and look after her education and health. Her parents gave consent, but the little girl was reluctant to leave her parents and brother. But she was convinced when the new foster parents informed her that she is free to visit her family whenever she wishes. After completing some legal formalities, she went to her new house and much delighted to find a younger brother. She was directly admitted in Standard 3 of a reputed international school as she qualified in the interview conducted for admissions. She got a shower bath in perfumed soaps and shampoos in the luxurious washroom and served with a sumptuous meal on the elegant dining table. After wearing school uniforms and shoes, she was dropped by her new parents in that international school, the best in the city. Subsequently, graduated from a premier college, scoring good percentage of marks. Time passed on. After 14 years. The little ragpicker girl has grown up into a young and beautiful damsel of 21 years. She qualified in Indian Civil Services examination and now posted as the sub-collector of a neighboring district. Her elder brother became a software engineer in Bangalore, and younger brother became an industrialist, establishing a startup. Her original parents have moved to Bangalore also and running a small departmental store. Their social status has improved a lot. Twinkle has been trying for overall development of the slum areas with special emphasis on their health, nutrition, clean and safe drinking water. Sorry. She earned a fame of being a popular officer of the district. After 5 years, she was transferred as Joint Secretary in Urban Development Department of State Secretariat on promotion. Then the twist came in the story. That is the biggest twist came in the story. Binod Kumar, a young and smart IAS and secretary of her department, fell secretly in love with her. As love at first sight. Her noble qualities, service to humanity, kindness, generosity, simplicity, and natural beauty attracted him towards her. His parents brought matrimonial proposal to her foster parents, and with consent of Twinkle and her original parents, both tied in wedlock knot. Now the new couple lead a happy married life and established one NGO named Seva. The name of the NGO was Seva, with active supervision of her foster parents after superannuation. The NGO looks after health, hygiene, safe drinking water, nutrition, and education of slum inhabitants of the entire state. They are now doing human service for upliftment of poor, have-nots, deprived, and downtrodden. And the story goes on. So this is the end of my story. Before I conclude my session, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to founder poet Kekkari Madam, Chief Coordinator Samsundar Sarmaji, for giving this unique opportunity to narrate my story, and all the honorable poets of UBI for conducting such a nice Zoom conference. Lastly, I owe my heartfelt gratitude to host and poet Saraswati Poswalji for inviting me to join this prestigious group. Finally, my thanks to all honorable poets who have watched and listened my live show. And goodbye for now. Thanks again.
Thank you
Thank you
so much. Thank you so much. It was so nice, superb, well narrated story, sir. And the twist, I'm still, that thing was in my mind. What the twist is going to be? The twist came, and it was very nice. That girl kept working, and she became an officer, and she was deputed from one place to another, and she got the life partner as well, working hard and doing. Yeah, that's very inspiring and motivating. Such kind of stories we need for the upcoming generation. Thank you so much for sharing such a lovely, wonderful story. Keep writing and sharing. Our best wishes are with you always. Thank you so much, Shyam Prasad
Thank you.
Patnaik, sir. Now I would like to give the charge of the stage to Ganga Lakshmi Patnaik. She will announce the another storyteller. She'll give a small introduction about, and then it will go on. Yes, ma'am. Your mic is unmute your mic, ma'am.
1 minute.
Thanks, Madam Saraswati. Now evening is approaching, and I'm excited to introduce our next storyteller, who is the host of this alluring storytelling program and who will narrate the story to entertain the readers. She is our most popular friend, poet Paul, Saraswati Poswal. Please give a warm welcome to Madam Saraswati as she will share her thoughts and reflections on the power of story in our lives. Just I like to convey her brief profile. Poetess Saraswati Poswal is a multilingual writer in English, Hindi, and Punjabi. She writes on many literary websites on love and life, nature and society. She has written more than 3,000 poems. She has had a penchant for writing since childhood and is now writing for various literary websites. She has contributed her poems to more than 200 anthologies, national and international. She has received various national and international awards, and her first book as an author was named Musing Showers in 2016. This was launched at Bhubaneswar by Anand Neel Niketan, author of Gazgamini Bahubali. She has done the anthology Placid of Sanguine as an editor and Pebbles, a crystal of feeling collection of poems from 100 writers. And recently she has published anthology Symphony of Peace, collecting poets around the world as an editor. In February 2002-3, this peace anthology was launched. She is running a platform named Sargam for Literary Interactions for the recognition of eminent poets around the world. She is a member of many poetry groups where she is conducting many events and ventures. She has received many awards for her work. Her awarded poem was Story of a Liberal Woman in Italy in 2016. She has received Rabindranath Award, Vrindavan. Her poem in social discrimination is also compiled in Limca Book of Record. Her Punjabi poem is published in Prisma Limca Book of Record. Thanks, madam, for your beautiful profile. You can start your story now to entertain us.
Thank you
Let's
so
start.
much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I would like to start my story. The title of my story is The Sobbing Eyes. Sobbing eyes, sobbing sound on the window pane. She was threatened. She was threatened many times by her brother not to sing a song. She had a great voice. She was given so many awards while she was in the school. She was awarded with so many awards for her voice in singing songs in the school. But with the passage of time, as she was appreciated in the school, but her parents, her mother and her brother, her father was not there, mother and brother was there, and they were not supporting her at all for doing this passion for her. She was a great singer in the childhood. This is a talent which came inside her since she was born. She never knew, but she continued singing all alone whenever she got the chance. But somehow that was to be stopped by her brother and her mother. They were not allowing her to sing. She had a great voice, but she was not allowed to sing and talk to anyone regarding the songs and singing. Reena joined one of the group through the phone and the platform Facebook, and there she started participating in the events of singing when she grew up past her college. And she used to participate when she got a chance or going to her friend's place without telling her brother and mother. She used to escape from house and she used to participate for those events because that was her passion and she doesn't want to leave. But anyhow, she doesn't want her mother and brother also to know. One day she was found singing. Her brother came and he found her singing. He snatched her phone from her, and now she was not allowed to go anywhere to any friend's place because he found everything in her phone that she was conducting the events, the singing events on the phone. Today it was all over, and it was over the brim. When they raised hand on her, she was domestically raised hand and volunteered not to sing a song, and she had to commit the promise with them that she will never sing because they raised the hand on her and the woman is not such powerful to go against the if anybody raise hands, either brother, father or mother, whosoever. Anyhow, after few days she got her phone when she promised that I'll not be singing anyhow. When she did all the household works and other things, cleaning, housekeeping, all the things were in her hands and she has to conduct all the house tasks. And she started talking to her friends to pass her time. Uh, that day again, her brother came and saw her chatting to someone. What happened? She was talking to her friend and she was found. He said, Reena, what are you doing? Entered the house. Brother said, Reena immediately kept the phone aside. She kept the phone aside and she was told to do something and she did not do. She forgot to do. Went inside the kitchen and her brother, Ravi, picked up the phone and scanned everything and found her sister talking to some guy. He went to her mother in the room and told everything about Reena, that she talks to some stranger. Her mother said to Ravi, Reena is also a girl. She also had a feeling anyhow, somehow, some feeling for motherly came out. She told that much to her son. She also has emotions, so she's grown up. We should think of her marriage. We should think to get her marriage, and now they forced her to get married. Married, and Reena was mentally not prepared to get married anyhow. She told them, I'm not in any of the affair with anyone. He's only my friend. She was talking to him, and that's and she told her mother that she want to do something. She also has some dreams. She ultimately came out with that she want to do something. Not she's not in any affair or she want to get married. No, that was not her dream. To make her identity, she want to go for business, job, or some course or whatever. But her mother's straight off refused. Now she was ill-treated by her mother and brother, and again they raised they raised hand on her on raising her voice for self-respect and for her self identity. She kept weeping and cried. No one heard her sound, and she kept crying whole night. And their decision was decision that whatever we'll do, we'll do. Her phone was taken under the custody by her brother and mother, told her to be prepared for getting married. She was engaged to unknown stranger. Marriage was closed. Now Reena was exhausted, as she never saw a stranger, nor she was supposed to know about him. He was aged elderly than Reena. She was probably 23 and he was 58. He was widower and had 3 children. She could only find with the clues or whatever the words appear in her ears. Now, no hope of life. Marrying to unknown stranger, that too of not her age, who will, when they are not, my parents, my brother and mother are not understanding, who will understand me? There was a generation gap whom Rina could never meet, and now she was in strange thoughts and what to do, what not. Her all dreams were broken, and she led a prejudiced life, which was not in her hands, and was set in confined walls of the domestic violence and killing herself inside with no dreams and now what to do, which will never leave a woman. She wanted to spread her wings for the life she wanted to choose. Destiny was also playing some role. She thought to run away. The moment she will get from her house, she will never come back. Now she planned to escape away from her house. Her mother and brother kept eyes on her all the time. They never let Rina to sit alone at home. Whenever they went out, they locked the house and go. They were selling the girl like for some amount. That too was not sufficient. No feeling was bothered, nothing of her choice in the life because they were not having much money and house, and they thought to sell her daughter for some money. Not only one of the life she thought of run away and doing something for of her choice. It was her life and she wanted to explore. One day she skipped away from her house. She went to her friend who was a lawyer. She told everything, how she was treated by her mother and brother. She never came to know the reason why they were treating her like this. Her friend helped her in getting a room in a hostel in the town and filed a case of harassment for her brother and mother. And they were taken in the custody. And she never saw the face of her father, and she felt them when she was too young. Why my mother did like this to me? Maybe there might be the reason of her mother, no emotions, connections, or whatever she felt. she was greedy for money. Now Reena was happily living in a hostel as she was away from her brother and her mother. And she found a job in a good company, leading her life of her own choice, attending the events of singing and doing her task of her own. She was working on her passion and doing the social job as well, where there was no offensive people, no one criticizing her. Giving birth does not mean that we have a right to harass our children. We have a right to hold them, to mold them, whatever we want. We can't do that. We can not force them to marry or with our choice. Family should support and help and uplift the talent. This is the moral and motive of my story, that we should be there with the children all the time. Once we have given the birth, it's not our like we are not we are not supposed to uh, criticize them and hold them like for our pleasures. We should think of their feelings, their choices. This was the moral of my story. Thank you so much. Hope you like.
Beautiful story, madam.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Mind blowing.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mind
Thank
blowing.
you. Thank you, ma'am.
Fantastic.
Because
Fantastic.
in Indian society, you people also know in the villages, this kind of
Exactly.
society still we
We
have.
support
Exactly,
that.
we have. We are taming our children. They're taming the children like animals. They're treating them, they're using them, and they're giving birth. So many children they are doing, and they're sending them to earn. That's it. They're selling their children for some amount of money, and this is for such people. Their
Exactly.
awareness. Yeah. Thank you so much. Hope you liked the story. So
Very,
this
very.
was
It's a
evening,
lesson to
and
the
this was a great day of ours. Poetry story
Only
with
motivational,
Listen
ma'am.
program.
Only motivational.
We would like to anything you want to discuss about your stories. If any review you want to give, you can come up with your reviews, Shyam sir.
Okay.
And yes, you can continue, Mudita Bhatnagar, if you want to say something.
I am really overwhelmed, ma'am. It was really very knowledgeable to get to the platform and listen to the opinions of all of you. It was indeed my first experience and it was worthwhile.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I'll
So,
definitely want to be the part of it another time if it ever happens. I would
yeah.
love to join it again.
Yeah, very inspiring stories. Keep writing and sharing to the world because
Surely.
people need words. We need words for the society and people to uplift them because there is very less knowledge in the society. People are very less aware. So we should keep on doing. This was a great session being there with all of you. Dr. Gangalakshmi Patnaik, thank you so much for being there. And Shyama Prasad Patnaik, sir, thank you so much for being there. Mudita Bhatnagar, thank you so much. And once again, we'll thanks to Sapna Shivani Kerkar ma'am for organizing such type of programs. Thank you so much. And Shyam Prasad Sharma sir, thank you so much. Shyam Sundar sir, thank you so much for organizing such meeting. If any other program, let's come and join. We'll be having more stories and more words with the words with the world to share. Thank you so